welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I will be your host for Tuesday or Thursday or Wednesday or Saturday. And joining me today, we've decided to get out and about and go around somebody's house and see them face to face, which is a bit unusual for us, but it's because I'm in Scotland and I'm actually got my hands resting on a tabletop, and that can only mean one thing. I'm here with a couple of people representing Tabletop Scotland. It is Mr. Duncan Cowan.
Hello.
And it is Mr. John Harper.
Hello.
And they have told us that they are, was it Hoddit and Doddit? Is that your job title?
Inigo and Montoya.
Oh, Inigo and Montoya. The reason that we're here to have a chat is because it is about 3 weeks until Tabletop Scotland. It's the first and second of September. Not that long ago. We're going to have a little catch up and a little chat, and these two lovely gentlemen, because I can see their faces and they're lovely.
23 days.
I'm going to
23 days.
Use his
you've done your homework.
He's done his phone calculator. We're going to talk a little bit about Tabletop Scotland and why, if you're still on the fence about considering going, why you should jump in and considering going, because I'm looking at the list that they've been given by Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Lord Overseer, man of beard, man of jet lag, probably after coming back from Gen Con.
We don't talk about that.
He was in Gen Con. Oh, he's never told anyone he was
No,
going to
no,
Gen
no.
Con.
It was a well kept secret.
Yeah.
Never
I
mentioned
wonder
it
how
was.
that happened.
I know, exactly.
Did he go with anyone we know?
Not that I know of.
No, that's
Well,
all
that's
right.
fine. But
Sure he would have mentioned it.
Greg. The reason that we do this is quite simple. It is because there's quite simply not enough podcasts out there about board games.
Apart from the 57 Richard's recorded this year alone.
The other reason that we do this is because we've been threatening to get John back on the show after the last time he was on the show, so he could be loud and potentially a bit sweary if he wants to be.
Oh, don't.
But he wasn't allowed back on alone, so I'm here as the chaperone.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
just in case, so you can give him a slap if he misbehaves.
Oh, excellent.
And things are well. Things are good.
Things are excellent.
400 tickets I've seen. There was a post by...
400 plus, I'd like to
Yeah,
think of it as.
we went over 400 plus today.
That's good.
Yes, we're delighted, I think is the word we would use, with the success ticket sales so far.
It's been drama. I mean, it's not been without its drama caused primarily by the fire.
Absolutely.
At the art school in Glasgow.
I mean, obviously the guys,
Yeah, so I mean, Kenny Lee from the Dice Roll Cafe in Glasgow, who runs a pop-up board game cafe there on, I think it's a fortnightly basis, at the Saramago Cafe in the Contemporary Centre for Contemporary Arts. He was providing our board game library. Fantastic, really appreciated his support. And unfortunately, the CCA building is within the cordon around the Glasgow School of Art that went on fire, and he's been told there'll be no access until at least middle of September. And all of the games for the board game library are within that building, within that cordon. So to say it was brown trousers time when we got that is a bit of an understatement. So we had to look through a few different options, didn't we? So we spoke to the guys at UK Games Expo, the guys at Thirsty Meeples, who provide their library.
we all started writing lists of our own board game
We
collections.
did. We all started looking at our own collections going, right, if I took the sleeves off that might be... And ultimately the salvation came from just one of the most out there options that we hadn't even thought was an option, to be honest. The legend, and he is always a legend now, Darius Twyman of All Around the Board.
Looking forward to meeting you, Darius.
Organiser of the Uncon convention down in Kent. That would be Kent. That would be in the south of England.
That
That'd
would
be
be
Kent.
as close to France as you could potentially
And
get.
quite, I've checked, significantly closer to Paris than Perth. And whilst Edinburgh might be the Athens of the north, Perth is not the Paris of anywhere.
And lots of
I'd like, for the purposes of the Perth Tourist Board, I would like to say that the views of John Harper do not represent Tabletop Scotland.
And then
In
all
a
that sort of
geographical
thing,
sense. Purely in a geographical sense.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. So, what Darius has offered to do is to take his entire game library of 300 plus games, I think we're at the moment, and drive it in a van on the night before Tabletop Scotland from Kent to Perth, There'll be 2 of them, so he's not doing it all on his own.
Yeah.
They're providing our game library, which Kenny Lee from Dice Roll Cafe will still be running for us, but without Darius providing the games, we probably wouldn't have a library, or certainly not the scale that we're going to have.
Exactly. I mean, it's just such a great reach out. It's, Darius has just turned around and said, and he said it in a conversation with Dave, what about if? And Dave said, Dave's initial reaction was to say, no, you're a fucking idiot. And when Dave told us, my initial reaction was, is he a fucking idiot? And Dave went, no, he's a really nice guy. And I'm like, but it doesn't stop him being an idiot. And it turns out he's both an idiot and really generous. So when he arrives, and when he eventually on the Friday night, once we've got him settled in and that, the first pint's on Duncan.
I think essentially he's not going to have to buy a pint the entire time he's in Scotland.
No, he's not going to have
Which, to be honest, given that he'll be driving a van on the Friday and the Sunday, leave Saturday, so...
That's how you offer.
I'm not going to be too much
He's going to have 1 pint at the most. He's going to get a shot, because the alcohol laws are slightly different in England. He's going to be, I'm good for 1.
No.
Is this your car, sir?
It's your van. Yes. What is in it? Board games. Now, sir.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
What are you smuggling in board game boxes? But I'm not.
It could be worse though. He could get all the way halfway back down from Tabletop Scotland and realise he's potentially left 2 cards. Somebody will be phoning it up and say, "Hey, you left this card out of Dead of Winter, mate. Do you want me to? Do you want to come back up and get it?"
The thing is, he's a teacher, and that Monday after Tabletop Scotland is the first day that they're back. So he's probably going to get back down there for 5, 6 a.m.
Something stupid like that. Yeah.
And then he's going to be at work first thing that morning. Can you imagine being one of his students?
Just round of applause.
Actually, just thinking. Normally, when I was a kid and when I was at high school, which was admittedly not last week, right? When I was at primary and high school,
slate and chalk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At the end of the term, you got to bring in board games, sticking hoops, stuff like that, right? As old sticking hoop. Right.
I remember days. Oh, you had a stick and a hoops.
Oh, yeah, we were posh. Stick and hoop.
Lucky.
I mean, it was a hand-me-down from Simon, but
I feel like I've walked in a Hovis advert here.
So when you were a kid, last day of school, you bought in games.
Yeah.
First day of school, his kids are going to get to play games from the big van. Exactly. Darius, we do appreciate it.
Yeah,
we really do.
Because to be honest, the bulk of the space of the convention is actually going to be open gaming.
Yeah.
And obviously we encourage people to bring their own games.
Yeah.
They can buy from the various retailers that will be there. They can buy things in our bring and buy, which we are definitely going to have on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But without that library there's maybe slightly less options for people to try something they haven't tried before.
Yeah.
So the fact we're going to have all these games, and it's a really great range from kind of family light games right up to the driest, kind of hardest Euro game.
The anti-John, as we call it.
Anti-John.
John has never played a Euro. I've been told about the concept, and I'm like, right, no thank you.
Exactly. I don't want to have numbers around the board. Why do you need numbers around the board?
Exactly. I struggle with anything more than number 6 confuses me. So.
Give me miniatures or give me death, basically.
I'm sort of the opposite end. Whenever I'm explaining the game, it usually starts with, right, whoever has the most points at the end of this game wins.
I don't mind games with points. I just don't see the point of games that are only points.
I know. Well, as I say, where there's muck, there's grass. I know, there's no point. We should have a camera so people can see the visual cue. I'm picking up it.
I will take photos. And so, gratuitous shout out, that's Darius, and his convention is called Uncon.
Uncon.
UNCON. Look it up, people. Share the love.
His next one is in November in Broadstairs in Kent, and Dave and I are currently looking at how we can get down there to support him.
Definitely. I think you should drive. I think it'd only be fair.
It needs to be a van though, surely.
It could be a van.
Tear-stained mattress in the back.
Full of nothing.
Look, Darius. Empty van.
Full van. Half moon. Full moon. Has your planning had to change as things have gone on with the convention? Because obviously you weren't sure of the kind of numbers you were going to be kind of bringing in, and you were quietly confident when you had a couple of hundred sales coming in months and months ago. So if you had to go back to the drawing board and say, how are we offering kind of more value? How are we making sure that if every single person that turns up, 400 people turning up, that's essentially a theatre full.
Plus.
You know, and it's not people kind of turning up for 50 minutes or an hour. This potentially could be people that are staying for a kind of a full day.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the extreme end is we already know people who are coming.
Yes.
Who've told us that their plan is to arrive at 9 o'clock, be there for the doors open 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning.
Yes.
And not leave till one of us kicks them out at 11:30 on the Saturday night.
Yes.
And then repeat on the Sunday when they're arriving for Sunday opening. And at 6 o'clock on Sunday, when a very grumpy operations head John is physically removing people from the building because
I don't know how that could be said about you. You're such a cheery chappy.
Not after 2 days of a convention.
2 days of dealing with people and having a smile.
Exactly. So there are people who have already said, look, and we know from experience from other events we've been to, and the way people want to play their games, and so we've gone from originally looking at, are people going to come and play for a few hours? What are we going to offer them, to knowing that we've got an audience where people are going to be there for the whole day?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've flexed. We're trying to adapt. We're looking at what we can offer. I mean, one of the things that I think what we really want people to do is take advantage of the options that we're presenting there. You know, we've got Asmodee demo area.
Yeah.
So people can bring their own games, they can borrow from the game library, they can go play a game at Asmodee, then go buy the game if they like it, or maybe get it from the games library and replay value.
And the thing is that Asmodee area, probably a lot of the Gen Con releases, we've not got a list of exactly what they're bringing, but we would expect that some of the games that were released there will be on the table probably just prior to retail release for a lot of them as well.
And the same goes for Coral Spring demo area. Their demo area, you go along, play their game, get along.
They're even doing a couple of tournaments at their area as well, so they're going to do King Domino and King of Tokyo, but they're just kind of on the day sign-ups. So we're not talking about kind of.
Yeah, I think there's nothing more frustrating than going to an event and being I'm going there just on a spontaneous kind of thing and finding out you can't take part of an event because you should have signed up 3 or 4 months ago when it was kind of like first kind of released.
That's what we're mixing up. Is that's one of the things we focused on. Is we've got what we think is a very good mix of events and participation things that you can sign up before. Go to the website. You can sign up for RPG sessions. You can sign up for one of our tournament events, or you can turn up and play. You can go sign up for stuff on the day. You can sign up for RPGs on the day. Yeah. You can just rock up and play a board game. Yeah. You can do pretty much anything.
Yeah. Okay. We pretty much allowed sort of a 25% slack in every event or role-playing session that we have on the website, so that you can still come on the day and there'll be sign-up sheets that you can just kind of have a wee look at what's available. The booklet that we've now produced for the convention is now available on our website as well, so you can look at the PDF version of that, have a wee look at what you might like to sign up for in the day. Ideally, sign up for it online in advance to confirm that your space is there, but if you turn up on the day and there are still spaces in a game, absolutely sign up.
Have you been researching kind of like local amenities and stuff like that as well? Because I think one of the things that's been, I guess, levelled at the UK Games Expo is, I really like the place, but I'd have to take a sandwich next time because the cost of the food up there was extortionate when they went to the UK Games Expo. Is that you looked at that as well?
The venue, the Jewish Centre itself, is a full set. In fact, it's got 2 complete kitchens. All right. Right. So they'll have the kitchens open. They're doing.
So you cutting and you spreading.
Basically,
I never spread.
Duncan. So basically, we've spoken to them about food options. I'm trying to be serious and I can't because Rich is now dying in the corner. Welcome to the John cast with John. So we've got the venue providing food options, and it's a full kitchen, and they are used to catering to events of this size and bigger. So they can. So we've given them a list of the food that we think is suitable, and they're basically their approach they've got is we give them a menu, they'll produce that menu. So we've tried to cater for as many tastes as we can. You're within 10 minutes of Perth City Centre. In fact, you're in 10 minutes Perth City Centre. You're out the centre, take a right, walk down a street, and you're in the middle of Perth. So there's all the options you can imagine that you get in a city the size of Perth.
We've actually included a lot of this information in the convention programme that everyone will get anyway. So there's a list of taxi numbers for those who need transport back to their hotels. There's a list of Yeah, park and ride from local from Brooksden, park and ride right to outside the venue, which is just ideal.
Yeah.
We've got a map of parking places around the city centre as well. So there's a lot of different things there. And Perth City Council themselves have been fantastic. Yeah. They've been really proactive in promoting it. They're delighted to have an event of this size and type actually coming to their city. Stuart at Big Dog Books in Perth, one of our biggest supporters. He's really been kind of helping us in terms of speaking to the council, and obviously promoting us within local businesses as well. But the local council, everything we've tweeted, they've retweeted. Everything that we've asked of them, they've been great. Information on trading licenses and all that type of thing. They've been spot on.
And one of the things we've done is we've said, right, we want this to be a family event.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the decision on whether they go somewhere is it suitable for my family?
Yeah.
And because of that, when we went to Perth Council, when we went to Live Active, who run the centres, we said, well, how can we make it family friendly? And their immediate comeback was, well, the site, Jewish centre we're at, right next to it is Perth Baths.
Yeah.
And they've got a spa, they've got a creche, they've got leisure facilities, and lo and behold, inside the convention booklet is the instructions on how to get your discount to use those facilities.
Yeah, okay.
So all the convention attendees go to Tabletop Scotland, and if you want to go next door to the baths, or if the kids, if you want to use the creche facilities, or if you want an afternoon in the pool, you got a discount.
So you've been just trying to push out as much as possible, so it's not just your normal kind of gamer folk kind of coming up to see.
I think one of the things that I'm most proud of, and we'll see how it works, because it's all fine in theory, but we'll see how it pans out on the weekend itself, is our gateway zone. I think that's something that maybe makes us a little different from other similar sized conventions that I've been to. Yes, we've got our family zone, which is sponsored by Harper, which is fantastic. They've given us 40 plus games from their own collection to do that. That's great. A lot of conventions will have that family section. We've got the open gaming, we've got the demo areas from Asmodee and Coiled Spring, but our gateway area is specifically designed for people who it's their very first foray into this. Not necessarily coming with their kids, but they're just curious about what this is. They maybe have played a game of Ticket to Ride with their mates or something, and it's intrigued them, but they don't really know what they're letting themselves in for. So we've got a team of volunteers who are very special skill set to essentially be that first welcome to people through the door that look like they're a bit bewildered by the whole experience, to essentially just take them by the hand, whether that be figuratively or literally. And we'll have a few kind of key games. Some of them are the obvious gateway games like Ticket to Ride or Carcassonne, that type of game. But also some that have got that kind of table pop. So things like Meeple Circus and Colt Express that, you'll walk past that table, and if you've never seen that before, you'll go, wow, what's that?
Exactly.
And you're immediately hooked. And what we really want to do is just get those people to sit down. These guys will teach them the rules, take them through the first couple of rounds, and then back off. And they're there if they're needed, but the idea is play your first few games there, find out what this great hobby is all about, and then release into the world of the games library and the open gaming and go and have a wander around the exhibitors. I think that's something that's really different that I've not seen at another convention. It maybe does exist, but I think it's something that's worth building, because one of the challenges of putting something together like this in Scotland is there are a lot of gamers in Scotland, but they're very geographically spread out.
Yes.
And actually trying to get everything together in one place, this is a fantastic opportunity to grow the base of gamers that there is in this country, because that's then our opportunity to go back to everyone next year and say, how did you find Tabletop Scotland? Had a great time. Brilliant. You coming back? Yes, and I'm bringing 3 friends with me. That's how you grow. And that's what Gateway is about. It's harder work, probably.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort for probably not a huge initial kind of result from it, but over time, just putting that effort into that definitely will pay dividends over time.
What we've done is, in terms of how we attract new gamers, we want as broad a spectrum of people as possible to attend, because actually that's the best way of getting growth in the hobby, is to get as many different people as you can in the same place at the same time. So we've been very targeted with our advertising, for example. So we've not actually got them advertised in all the obvious places. The biggest circulation of advertising we've done is we put an advert and an article in a free magazine that's distributed to all the schools in Fife and Perth and Kinross.
Yeah.
The primary schools especially.
Yeah.
And so what we've actually seen is a boom of teachers buying tickets.
Yeah, no, I think that's... Well, I think... and we've spoken a few times, I think, to... like Nigel Kennington, and when we had Justin Morgan Davies on, and they've waxed lyrical about the use of board games in an educational environment.
Absolutely.
And I think for a lot of teachers, it's like, well, how do I do something? And also, do you know what? There'll be a whole pile of teachers that'll be, see if I hear another kid talking about Fortnite and playing online.
Yeah.
When they've got, here's something that you can actually do themselves, like when they're actually being sociable. And I mean sociable as in kind of facing across a table.
Well, my normal gaming group, there's 2 teachers in that, both within the Perth region. They're 2 of the guys who are kind of helping us to kind of push this a little bit out in the schools. And they really see both the fun aspect of it and obviously the educational side of it. But the thing that really seems to kind of tick the boxes with a lot of the parents that they speak to is getting away from the screen.
Yeah.
It's just about having kind of social contact as a family, but without having to have a tablet or a phone or a PC.
And that's one of the reasons why we very deliberately have been promoting our family tickets.
Yeah.
You can buy an adult ticket, but family tickets, and the age range we're promoting family tickets at, under 10s, under 16s, the actual pricing point is deliberate to get as many people to bring their whole family.
I mean, under 10s are free. I mean, that alone is a massive thing. Yeah. What does it cost you to go to the cinema with a family of 4 or 5?
Yeah.
40 quid.
40.
I've had that.
40, yeah.
No, it's like by the time if you even consider even looking at the suites nowadays, it's like, that's a £5 for that, mate.
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
Great. And so what we're trying to say is, or I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that everyone finds something for them. So it's effectively a lot of space with funnily enough a lot of niches in it, but no one niche is any more important than the other. Yeah. So there's bound to be something for you. If you're a gamer of any type, you'll find something you like. Yeah. Hopefully, you'll find lots of things you like, and if all else comes to pass and you're thinking, if I don't know there's anything better to do, go to the bar. There'll be somebody in the bar to talk to, and you'll find it. Because we've got a bar, and we want everyone to have a good time.
I guess one of the things that's probably important to touch on that is the tournaments that we actually have, because although it all sounds very formal and there's a tournament for Catan or there's a tournament for Carcassonne, it's still a bit of fun. It's just fun with a kind of framework around it.
Structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bragging rights, and who doesn't love a bit of that? So tournament-wise, we've got Pandemic Survival, which is a UK qualifier for the UK Championship.
Only a couple of spaces left in that.
Only a couple of spaces left. Yeah. And if you like Pandemic, you like that sort of game, then it really takes that core frantic, can I do this game, and just ramps it up to 11. It just turns it up and turns it up, competing against the clock and each other and the ravaging diseases and the game, but with the element.
I mean, everyone plays in pairs, and there's one infection deck that's the same for everyone. So the only things that differ on each of these boards, decisions you make. Wow. We did a trial run,
fixed rules
in
as well,
a few weeks ago, and it was crazy. My team were out after 3 turns. Never played as bad as my.
I mean, in theory, we've built enough time for some people to actually win the game and cure the diseases.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to win the game and cure the diseases. This is literally Survivor.
Oh, you have little faith. I have much greater faith in the people of Perth and Scotland than you have. Yes.
And then we've got a Catan UK qualifier as well. So the Catan one's a bit different in that it's a set map. I can remember the exact.
Yeah, all the maps are set up identically. It's 4 players, 4 players per map on that particular one. But the thing with that is a qualifier for the UK Catan Championships, which are held 2019 UK Games Expo, and the winner from Tabletop Scotland, we will pay for their travel to get down to Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
And that's not travel via another country. You're not getting a free flight to Los Angeles and then back to Birmingham.
Well, you never know. We could go to Wales and then back up.
via Cali.
We'll stretch as far as, somewhere reasonable.
We've got a van.
It's got a mattress in it. It's tier state.
And Dave. But yeah, so we're basically paying for their travel to get to the UK National Games Expo, which is...
That's pretty cool.
And if they win that, they'll potentially get to the Worlds.
And the price for that is Expo get to pay for them to fly to America.
Well, that's pretty good.
And then we've got Star Wars Destiny, which is being sponsored and run by our friends at Common Ground Games in Stirling.
Yes.
And that's so for those who've never played Destiny, and you played the other night.
Oh, I love it.
It's a great game, dice and cards and Star Wars. What more is to do? I mean, it's got everything you want in a game.
It is everything you want in a game and more.
And so that
And so much more.
And there's some cool prizes for that, and there's unique game mats that Steve's designed.
Yes.
For prizes for that. We've got the Scottish Carcassonne Championships.
I can't imagine how that goes.
Well, it's Carcassonne.
That's a road. That's a road. You can't have that lying down. It's not a lion. It's a church.
That's Isle of Skye,
It's what you get is Carcassonne in it. I mean, you're going to get, and then
There's going to be fights, John.
If there isn't, I'd be disappointed.
Scottish Championships at Carcassonne.
I'd be disappointed. Then there's Karuba, which may or may not, depending on eventuality, feature somebody wearing a sparkling Indiana Jones outfit.
Someone who's previously identified themselves as Inigo Montoya.
Yes, somebody who's potentially not sitting too far across the table from us.
It depends. I own the whip.
But enough about that.
Moving swiftly on. Yeah.
And then we've got our Shadespire Grand Clash.
Yes.
So Shadespire is a fantastic squad skirmish combat board game from our friends at Games Workshop. If you've never played it, I thoroughly recommend it. It's one of those. It's easy to learn, hard to master. You can spend as much or as little as you want on the game. You'll have a great time, and it's a Grand Clash. So that's Games Workshop's organised play structure for it. This is the first ever Grand Clash in Scotland. So they released the game last year. Their first Grand Clash was at I want to say Blood and Glory, which is a big event down south. And so they're providing us with all the prizes. They provide us with support for the event itself, promotion on their website, which, as you can imagine, gets a lot of hits.
Snazzy little trophy, which
very lovely. It's very lovely gold. I was going to say gold trophies, engraved glass trophies, and that's again, like all our tournaments, free. All you have to do is buy a convention ticket. So if you want to just play in the Shadespire tournament or the Pandemic tournament, you buy a ticket for that day for the convention.
That's pretty cool.
That's it. So if you're paying £15 for your weekend ticket and you want to play Shadespire on the Saturday and do the convention on the Sunday, that's perfect. You're not paying any extra for getting entry. And in fact, in some cases, if you win these things, what you're getting in terms of prizes is significantly more than you paid for your ticket in the first place.
Of course, if you enter Pandemic Survival and get knocked out in round 3, then you've got the whole day ahead of you. Convention hall.
You will get knocked out of round 3. So we've got these are structured events which are part of the weekend, but the weekend isn't just these events. Like I say, you can play one or more of these if you time it right, and then you've still got time in even with these events finishing, they'll be finishing even starting 10 o'clock, finishing 6 o'clock. Still gives you on the Saturday 5.5 hours to enjoy the games library, enjoy the demo zones, and go around all the vendors, enjoy the bar, take part in the evening activities we've got planned, because we've got stuff planned right the way through to closing time. I mean,
we've got some intellectual pursuits, haven't we?
Yes, intellectual
we've got a few seminars and that, don't you know?
No, seminars.
Actual people talking.
Seminars.
Yes,
so friend of the show, Bez of Stuff by Bez, is doing a Board Game Design 101 seminar, which is on the Saturday. So again, just really, a bit of an insight into her process.
There's going to be cats.
There'll be cats, of course.
Oh yeah, Bez will have the wall of cats.
Yes, we've had to provide enough extra wall for the wall of cats, which I believe is over 1,000 now.
Is it? Well, I'll be adding a couple. I'll be trying to throw pictures of my three. So,
That'll be absolutely fantastic.
But the guys from Meeple Like Us as well, who did their accessibility in board gaming seminar at UK Games Expo, that was their warm up. So they're doing their proper version at Tabletop Scotland.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fantastic. We've got obviously Geek and Son are one of our sponsors along with DMB Games, Hexagony and Gaming Enhancements.
Yes.
But Geek and Son obviously are bringing a couple of their tables along as well. And
they're bringing a couple of tables along. They're returning with a no less than 1, but a number between 0 and 1, depending on just how many I can get out of the building without being noticed.
So
what operations?
What's great about that though is they've essentially said, look, the best advert for our tables is to see people at them enjoying themselves playing games. So essentially, we've given some of our ticket purchasers who have won prize draws time to play on a Geek and Son table, so kind of 2-hour slots. We've also spoken to all of our exhibitors who have games that they may want to demo in a more focused way, so we'll give each of them a kind of dedicated time slot on the table, and then people can see, both the table in action, but then also that game being demoed as well. So they've been fantastic. They've been really supportive. But yeah, so I mean, there's so much happening. There really is.
So what we're looking at now is we've broken the 400 ticket sales.
Yes.
Which we're really stoked about. We know there's going to be people that can't make their mind up yet. We know there's people that haven't bought a ticket yet. So we're just saying, if you want to come, buy a ticket if you can, and if you even if you have been able to line the stars up enough that you can say by 24th, I believe we stopped online ticket sales. So we'll still be selling tickets on the day on the door. So you can rock up and pay. We want as many people as possible there. We've got all the capacity. We've got a capacity. We know that we want to get as close to that number as possible. Yeah. So just buy your ticket.
If we get so close to that number, we might have to put an attendance cap on, and those people who leave it to buy on the day, John, might be disappointed.
I mean, have you had people from all of the UK coming over?
I mean, we've got people coming.
There are people from Northern Ireland coming. We've got a publisher from the Republic coming over as well, who will be in the playtest zone, decking awesome games. So they'll be in the playtest zone.
We've got people
Germans, I believe. Yeah, we've got some Germans coming over.
We've had interest from we've got. I mean, people from the very far south as you can get in England. We've got people coming from Brighton who are coming to Scotland for the first time.
Like, had some guy in a Vic van is coming up from Kent.
Okay, some guy in a van. We've got people from the whole of Scotland. Did
that surprise you? I mean, I know people would say like Perth's the heart of Scotland, but I mean, the kind of when I first heard the destination, I went Perth, and then I went, well, actually, to come to think of it, it's half an hour away from me. I mean, it's actually it takes longer to get to Stirling. It certainly takes longer to get to Glasgow. On a bad day, on a good day, it actually takes longer to get to Edinburgh unless I'm getting the train. So,
well, that's exactly it. I mean,
we'd sort of hoped, hadn't we? We'd thought it sounded like a good idea, but until people started buying tickets from different parts of the country, then
we were talking about it, and we were trying to think of a strapline, for the actual event, and we were going through Tabletop Scotland, and I threw out gaming in the heart of Scotland. And I got funny looks, and I was like, "Well, Perth's in the middle of everywhere."
Yeah.
If you put a pure point in the middle of Scotland, if you actually found the geographic middle of Scotland, it's halfway up a bloody mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
Right, in real life, but the reality is if you look at where all the places in Scotland really are, the only point where the motorway network, as it were, really does join up, and you can get to by train from everywhere else is pretty much Perth. So it is central enough for almost everyone we've spoken to in Scotland they say, oh, but Perth, and but you go, well, it's Glasgow, you're 45 minutes away on the motorway. You're Edinburgh, you're 45 minutes away on the motorway, unless the traffic's bad. Oh, Dundee.
And in fairness, it's not actually too far away from Newcastle, from Cumbria. You're only talking a couple.
But
of hours.
I think people want a different venue as well.
Yeah.
I think Perth's kind of a small enough place that it's not going to intimidate a lot of people. I know some people, the thought of driving to Glasgow, it's just, I hate driving. I hate driving to Glasgow. I've always hated driving to Glasgow. I hate going on to 15 lanes wide and wondering if
always come off the wrong way
at that bit where you're supposed to turn right when you're supposed to turn left.
Somehow you end up at Charing Cross even though you have no idea why you're in Charing Cross.
But then Perth is like, well, I know I go straight up here, I take a left here, and I'm pretty much I'm pretty much.
And it's actually been a really big selling point when we were down at UK Games Expo. The fact it's in Perth has actually been a real positive for those who don't live in... For some who live in Scotland, it's Perth, it's half an hour up the road. Right, fine, for you, that's the case. But if you're coming up from Kent, or if you're coming up from, somewhere else down south, you want to go to a part where you can see some distilleries or do some kind of tourism stuff, or there's just nice scenery.
Exactly. By the way, here's the Highlands. You've seen them in every film you've ever watched. Enjoy.
But there's the other side of it, there's the whole family thing. Yeah. I mean, it's like my son went to Edinburgh this week with he went across to Edinburgh, but there was that kind of thing, he's Edinburgh, it's festival time, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be kind of busy. Glasgow's kind of the same. Perth, it's kind of like, again, it's kind of family friendly enough, so it's kind of got that thing, so you've not got the... I mean,
and actually, you mentioned about your son, and we were talking about the family zones. One of the things we've done this year is, I'm not sure if you've read this, it's the Scottish Year of the Young Person. Mm. So we're an official Scottish Year of the Young Person partner.
All right.
We've reached out to some local schools in Perth, and we've got a media. I can't remember what the term we used was. It's gone from my head. But we've reached out to. So we're official Scottish Young Person partners. So we've reached out and we've said, right, how can we incorporate that into what we're doing?
Yeah.
So again, our focus has been on the family side of it, and you're just getting that aspect has been quite good as well.
Yeah,
actually.
And we're actually running a competition through the teacher friends that I have in some of the local schools as well. It's a design a poster competition, but it's really just to try and kind of create a bit of awareness of the fact that this hobby exists in amongst the group.
It's fascinating, that, isn't it? I always continually meet people, and I was like, "What do you do?" "Oh, I like to play tabletop and board games." What, like Monopoly?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still going on. I still can't. We're sitting here with kind of like
the
massive
Sentinels
the
box.
Sentinels box. And if you open it up, it goes. Ah!
If I keep buying Kickstarters, I'll be sleeping in that.
Well, you probably could actually. No,
we've all used the term the hobby tonight.
Yeah.
Right. But actually, when I explain it to people that aren't in the hobby, I invariably end up spending as much time telling them about the fact that it's board games. But board games are not the same as role-playing games. Some are role-playing board games.
Yes.
And some role-playing games are board games. But then there's card games. And some card games are board games but are also role-playing games. And then you've got card games that are role-playing games that don't...
You can see why we don't let them out very often, don't you?
Yeah. But it's like the Monty Python thing. Yeah. I'm a duck.
Yeah.
Which means that...
I'm an African duck or a European duck.
But that's it. We say the hobby, but what we actually really mean is dozens of hobbies.
Yes.
Which some of us do lots of one and none of another, and some of us do drip in and out. I mean, I'm a war gamer by preference. I like war games. Do some board games. Do some card games.
I'm a board gamer. Done a bit of role playing. Done a bit of war games in the past. Yeah. But my focus squarely is board games. Yeah, and Dave's coming at it from the role playing angle primarily from background and more sort of board game. So actually, we've got quite a 360 in amongst the four of us.
And Simon's coming at it from, we've got to have something to do the maths point of view.
We all need that. We all need that one person.
So we think the event reflects us. It reflects our tastes, our personalities, and that's why we've gone for the stuff we've gone for, because you can see each of us. I mean, you won't find a bigger advocate for the Shadespire than me. Duncan's all about his board games. You say the words Dungeons and Dragons and Epic to Dave, and his face lights up.
Oh, I've seen that.
And that's like we've got to do the Epic.
But the great thing is about Tabletop Scotland that you can go along there as a board gamer that's never had any exposure to role playing, never had any exposure to collectible card games, and actually you might just see something or find something or try something out. I mean, all of I think with the exception of about 5 or 6, I think all of the role playing games that we're running are kind of beginner friendly. There's pre-generated characters there that you just sit down, sign up for the game, sit down at the table, they'll talk you through it, and it's just see that you like it. And that's something that not every convention is going to give you the opportunity to do.
One of my friends, Joe Ward, who's who's coming specifically so he can D&D. He's never had a chat. He's always wanted to play D&D. He never played it, and then we arranged this, and he's like, "We having D&D?" I'm like, "Yes." They signed up for D&D session. Literally, which one do we go for? And I'm like, "This one." He's like, "Well, so I've signed up for it." And he's like, "Can it be a Ken the Bard?" And I'm, "No, you can't be a bard. No bards allowed." So he is literally coming so he can have his very first ever D&D.
That's cool.
That's literally that's all he's after, because he's always wanted to do it and he's just never had the opportunity. So we're doing this thing. Literally, he lives in Dundee, so it's half an hour from his front door.
Yeah,
he's going to drive along, him and his missus, and their
have some fun,
and he's going to get to D&D for the first time ever.
That's pretty cool.
And I believe he's won prizes. Jammy bastard. Not a joke, by the way. He wins everything. It's ridiculous.
All right, okay.
He won an AST for Star Wars Thingamajig of the week.
Yeah.
He does all these, you see people on Facebook giving away this. Winner, Joe Award.
Do you want some gin with your bitter lemon?
I wouldn't mind.
So, it's the 1st and 2nd of September.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, yes. 23 days from now.
It's at the Dewar Centre.
In Perth.
Perth.
Yeah.
Tickets are £15
for the weekend.
For an adult, it's £15 for the weekend. 10 if it's just Saturday, 8 if it's just Sunday. Yep. But we have also got concessionary price for young adults, between 11 and 16. Under 10s are free.
Yes.
And we've got a family ticket, which you can have 2 adults, 2 young adults for £44.
And it's any number of under 10s on a family ticket. Because if you buy a family ticket and you've got 6 kids, then
chances are that 2 or 3 of them are going to be going in free.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's excellent.
And £15 we think is great value for the weekend.
No, absolutely. I mean, let's face it doesn't even get you to allow you to drive past the zoo.
Exactly.
So you can look at a penguin.
We went, me and my partner Peter, and my dad went to the Wildlife Park at Kincraig.
Yeah.
And it was £48 just to drive in.
As I say, the cinema was just,
£48.
You're talking like 15 quid. It's about 15 quid for me to get into the cinema by myself. It was about 13 quid. I mean, premier seats, but obviously you got to be...
You're even getting live entertainment at Tabletop Scotland on the Saturday night as well. So we've got Unlucky Frog podcaster doing a Room 101.
Ooh, the enemy hiss.
they're doing a Room 101 style show.
There's your tenor, John.
So various let's just say names within the hobby.
The hobby.
Yes.
We'll be
we'll be putting things into Room 101.
Yeah,
which will be cool.
So we're quite excited about that.
Where can we find you online? In terms of if folk have listened along and said, let's find out some more, let's go ahead and book some tickets. Whereabouts do you find you guys?
Tabletopscotland.co.uk.
Yes.
That's got everything.
Okay.
All your tickets, if you want to buy it, if you haven't bought your tickets, if you want to sign up for an event or an RPG session that's not already full, you can sign up there. There are still spaces available for all the events, and some of the RPGs have still got empty slots, but they are filling rapidly. We're all 75%
of all the role-playing games
is gone.
Cool.
You can also get us on Facebook, just Facebook Tabletop Scotland. If you are going to come, or you want to talk to us about anything Tabletop Scotland, or you want to arrange games, we've also got a separate Tabletop Scotland chat group on Facebook, which people are already arranging transport, group lifts, game sessions. People are already off saying what they're bringing to the Bring and Buy, for example, on there. So we've got a great group of people chatting on their attendees. And we've also got Twitter, which is, wait for it, at Tabletop Scott.
Yay!
And the same on Instagram. And if anyone out there would like to explain Instagram to us, please find us at the event.
I can do that.
We also have an app.
We also have an app, yes. We have an app which you can download and install from both iOS and Android devices.
Oh.
And in the app, you will find a huge range of information.
Oh.
Have you not seen the app, Richard?
I will need to get the app.
I have the app here.
Oh, wow.
So we have our own app.
That's sparkly.
Essentially, it's got all of the events scheduled for the entire convention, so you can favourite which events you're actually in. It'll send you a notification 15 minutes before. It's got a map of the venue, which you can zoom in from particular events. So there's no excuse for being in the wrong place, wrong time if you've booked up.
That's really, really
And
cool.
it also, so the map shows you all the venue. It also gives you a complete floor plan for all the vendors and all the different zones. and it includes the where to buy your tickets, where to buy your merchandise, the quiet room where the seminars are. So we've got that, and as Duncan said, you can actually use it to take a note of your day, basically plan your day, buy your tickets, and once you bought your tickets, you can just pick whatever you want from the list, and that's how we know where you're going. So if you want to play, sorry, I've just found a D&D I might want to do.
If you think you're going to have time to play D&D at Tabletop Scotland, let me just have a word with Dave. Yeah.
So basically, so iOS and Android, that was published this week, wasn't it?
It was.
Just the other day, yeah. So really, really cool. And that was created by a friend of the event.
Yep, Chris Brind.
Chris.
Brindy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so you've got all the options there. Is there anything else online?
I think that's our presence.
We will make sure, as normal, that we shall put them in the show notes.
Fantastic.
So that we have notes to show.
Yeah.
Yay! And if you want to keep an eye on what we're up to, and you should, because we're going to be doing lots and lots of things over the next couple of months. You can find us on Twitter, which is We're Not Wizards. You can find us on Facebook, which is We're Not Wizards. You can read stuff that people have been writing on our blog, which is we're not wizards.blogspot.com. You can find us on our website, which is we're not wizards.com as well. You can go to YouTube and find us, so just search for We're Not Wizards, you'll find us there. You can find us on the appropriate kind of various podcast catchers, Acast, Stitcher, Spreaker, Player FM. If you like what you've heard, then please follow us on Twitter, like our page on Facebook. If you like us very, very much, then please consider going to Apple Podcasts and dropping us a subscription. If you like us even more, consider dropping us a rating or a review. And as we say, if you are going to give us a rating or a review, don't give us a 10, because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us a 1, because it makes me cry. Give us a 5, because it's in the middle, and it's average. And we are decidedly average. But the gentlemen who have not been average this evening is the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic, the rather magnificent Duncan and John. Woo! There are only 2 more things left to do.
Just the 2.
Just the 2. The first thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards, gentlemen?
No.
Absolutely not.
Not a wizard.
Absolutely not. We're heading up a fun, family, games-filled event the beginning of September.
We are indeed.
And the second thing is to say goodbye. So it is a goodbye from Duncan.
Goodbye.
It is goodbye from John.
Toodle pip.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe. Roll6s.com. And if you are kicking about the castle around about September time, get yourself up to Tabletop Scotland, because it sounds like with you at your events, you've got your chance to go into gaming if you haven't done it before. You've got a chance to actually drag along that auntie or that uncle or that brother or that sister who's always said, what you doing with those bits of cardboard? Bring them into Tabletop Scotland, let them have a shout, show them what it's all about. And it's, sounds like it's fantastic value for money. Sounds like it's going to be a fantastic time for all involved. But until the next time, goodbye.